To hold off Luka Doncic and the Mavs last night in their 118-110 win, thanks to forcing 11 turnovers from Luka despite his 42 points. LA also got some help when Kristaps Porzingis was ejected in the third quarter. Yahoo Sports senior NBA insider and TNT sideline reporter Chris Haynes joining us now from the bubble. Chris, it is so good to have you. I have plenty of bubble questions, but I want to get to what we saw last night from the Clippers. Should they be concerned after barely beating the Mavs without Porzingis late?
Certainly a little bit. I didn't expect that type of performance from the Mavericks, and I didn't expect that from Luka as well. And I know Luka is a young superstar in this game, but he's never been in the playoffs before, and particularly been in the playoffs where he's matched up with two of the most elite perimeter defenders in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and he was still able to give them 42. And with Kristaps Porzingis being ejected, look, they have to be concerned right now. I think the Clippers, look, if they didn't bring their A game, I think they know right now it's going to take that to get past this young nucleus right here. I think they might have overlooked them or didn't take them seriously enough, being that this is a young team that hasn't been there before. But after watching what Luka is capable of doing, not just those two elite defenders on the perimeter I mentioned, Patrick Beverley as well. He was able to get to whatever spot he wanted to. And so when you add in Kristaps Porzingis for an entire game, that's just going to add another dynamic. So definitely I think Clippers should be concerned.
Are we still calling Kawhi elite level defender? Because he's not the same guy, Chris. He doesn't move with the same fluidity. He doesn't go laterally as well as he once did. Mm-hmm. Those knees are clearly an issue. He's having to pass the buck. Paul, you take him. No, Pat, you take him. No, Marcus, you take him. That's not elite.
He's saving himself for the Lakers.
You see now, anytime somebody gives him the business, he's saving himself. Jason Tatum gave him the business. Well, he saved himself for LeBron. LeBron gave himself. He's worried about the playoffs. We're in the playoffs, and a guy got 42. When you think of the Pantheon great players, in their first game never got 42 against two elite level defenders.
I got to interrupt real quick. Timeout. Do you realize what the silent assassin did very quietly last night? He did work. I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard went 29, 12, 6 assists, and 3 steals. And Shannon Sharp did not notice. Go ahead.
I tell you what I did notice. Yep. Hey, Anthony, you got something for me? I want to know, maybe there's some flies in the building, because I heard there's a fly thing going around in Florida right now. What's going on right here, Skip? What is that?
What is what?
What is it? Wait, Chris. What is that? Is there a fly flying around in his face?
Yeah.
What is that, Skip Bayless?
29, 12, 6, and 3.
Hold on. They gonna find him. That's a flop. He's flopping all over the place.
He was the main reason they survived last night. That's all I know.
All I'm saying is this, is that I believe it did. We'll never know. But I don't believe Porzingis should have got ejected. I don't think that second tech should have been called. I think it's like, okay, guys, break it up. Because they hadn't gotten chippy. There was no reason to figure it was going to get out of hand. But Luka is special. I'm not surprised. Now, I'm surprised he got 42, but I'm not surprised that he had an outstanding game. I thought he'd have something. I think I said yesterday, Skip, I said he'd have something like 29, 8, and 10 or something like that. I didn't see 42. But I think we might need to reevaluate just how elite level those wing defenders are. Because we see guys getting monster numbers that they're not supposed to get if those guys are what we say they are.
By the way, the Dallas Mavericks finished the season with the highest offensive rating in the history of basketball. And by the way, they scored 69 in the first half, and the Clippers came out after halftime and said, watch this.
Yeah.
And they started to defend because the Dallas Mavericks scored 41 in the whole second half.
Kenny Fitzgerald had something to do with that.
Dallas had 36% shooting in the second half. They went 3 of 22 from 3. That's 17% because they started to get locked up. I told you earlier in the show, you were right. If Porzingis stays eligible for the rest of the game, I believe the Mavericks would have won that game. But I told you going in, this is going to be the Clippers' toughest series. Tougher than Denver next, tougher than the Lakers next, because the Clippers have not played enough basketball together. Last night was their 13th full roster game out of 73 games they played this year. And all of a sudden, they're throwing Montrezl Harrell onto the floor for 15 minutes of a game in which He was playing the first time since March the 10th. He played no bubble games, no 3 scrimmages, no 8 regular season restart games. And all of a sudden, you're playing him 50 minutes. It looked like he'd never played basketball before. What do you want from them?
Hey, Chris Haynes, can I ask you a question? Do you need to practice? I mean, Deion Sanders never came to the huddle. He just knew he had that guy. Kawhi, you got Luka. Paul George, you got Luka. What you need to practice that? That's your man. Stay in front of him. And Luka lived at the rim. He at the rim just getting T.A. I'm like, Luka, you was just here and getting takeout. He like, I'm back again. They can't keep me out.
Time out. What did Chris Haynes just try to explain to you? For a while, the Clippers did not take the Mavericks seriously. But after the opening salvo. But what happened to start the game? What happened? 18-2 happened. It looked like they blew him off the floor, and it was over. And what did your man Luka do? What'd you tell me? Five turnovers in the first 5 minutes.
He was anxious.
And then all of a sudden, the Clippers said, well, we already beat them 3 times in the regular season. We're 3-0. So let's take our foot completely off the gas. They gave up a 48-14 run over the next quarter time of minutes. 48-14, that's 34 points. What are you doing? They just stopped playing.
Oh, baby bird happened. That's what they call him down in the bubble, ain't it? Baby bird.
I'll say this. I think the Clippers are going to be much more physical with Luka. You know how boxing, it's that filling out round. That was round 1. Filling out each other, trying to see if jitters is going to get in the way of Luka and Porzingis. Now they see that, that's not an issue. Like those important playoff type games he played over there in Europe, like he's used to this. Right. So he's not going to be nervous or scared of the moment. So they see that. Now it's about taking the head off, getting physical with him. Obviously, if you limit Luka, you're going to limit everybody else that's on the floor.
So what I saw at the end of the game, we saw Luka walking up the ramps to the locker room, and he looked like a battered old man because they had been very physical with him all night long. He had gotten to the lane again and again. It shocked me because he took advantage of all 3 wing defenders, including Marcus Morris, who did the best job on him, but they took their pound of flesh. I agree they will get even more physical next time. Patrick Beverley takes them some. It just wears even a young man down and finally out. Even though this series is going to go a ways, I think Luka is going to be beat up and worn out when it's over.
Hey, Skip, but nobody likes walking up a hill after a game. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't do that. You don't do that often. So
if Luka was walking like that at 21 up, what Kawhi looking like with them rickety knees? And you saw him slipping around in those orthopedics. He stayed slipping. Porzingis crossed him up. Everybody crossed him up. You saw it, Chris Haynes. You was right there, had an up-close view of it.
Trying to ridicule 29, 12, and 6. Wow.
Skip, ain't nobody ridicule that. But hold on. But the guy that he was guarding had 42. So what I'm supposed to do?
Oh, did he guard him the whole time? I think not.
Yeah, no, he like, Paul, he done lumped me up. You get some of this. He lumped Paul George up. Paul said, Pat Bev, take that. Pat Bev had 5 fouls with like 2 minutes in the game. And then guess what? He said, Marcus Morris, come on, you can get something too. Gave it to all of them. I ain't never seen a man do 4 men like that. He beat 4 men by himself.
I know for a fact that Kawhi Leonard watches this show, and I hope he's watching right now because he's going to remember what LeShannon Sharp just said.
This is what we know. If they can't keep Luka Doncic from the rim, man, LeBron James about to look like Derrick Henry coming downhill.
Really?
Yeah.
If he ever decides to.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
You worry about your team.
All right, Chris. I would love to have you stick around. I'd like to hear more about bubble life, but also about tonight. Will LeBron and the Lakers get a win against Portland and red hot Damian Lillard?